And today I just want to kind of give a little basic report on what we experienced yesterday. It's kind of wild because I referenced this whole movement is kind of like on an alternative CNN almost. You know, we just take CNN off of, forget being alternative CNN, just the mainstream news. And man, we were in the epicenter yesterday of the crazy like protest demonstration movement downtown Paris. We just happened to be at a radio station recording Black Excellence, dealing with this brother who's a DJ who's doing big things for like the equivalent of Hot 97 in Paris. And we walk outside and it's like a billion cop car. I mean, it's serious.
Look. There's Popo. All right, well, who they coming after? The demonstrators. Really? You can't even see them.
You probably saw it on the news worldwide, but they didn't give you probably the real perspective. We heard tear gas canisters popping off, the people getting beat down and all that. So the point is, when I ask questions about it, the people who were telling me what was going on let me know that the people in France pushed back. You know, and this is a frequent occurrence. And I start thinking about America, how many things we just kind of lay down and take and just keep it moving. You know, I know that the old protest movements, you know, are by and large outdated with the marching in the streets, singing Kumbaya, we shall overcome and all that stuff. But these people are willing to get it in. If they feel an injustice, they're going there. And it really started making me thinking about the vibration, like the frequencies, the sound, you know, like what are people projecting? What are people, you know, because there could be either destructive interference waves or constructive interference waves. And constructive interference waves is like if you can picture a sine cosine wave, and no matter how big it is, if you have another sine cosine wave that actually like spoons it, like fits right into it, that's constructive waves. And those create an attachment to each other and make each other bigger. Like when I'm singing harmony with Shy, when we're in tune with each other, with our harmony notes, I can't distinguish my note from their note. It's just a big sound and it makes me feel bigger. So while I'm in that moment, I'm bigger than myself and everybody, but everybody's bigger than themselves and everybody in that moment. As soon as we have a discordant note, it breaks down, you can hear everybody's individual note and you get puny again. And I'm saying, if you look at that in terms of a movement, and you can easily detect when something is coming in as a stimuli that's not a constructive wave interference pattern, where it's actually destructive. So the sine cosine part hits each other opposite and makes like a frazzle thing. And I think that's what's happening here around the world. And a lot of it has to do with the Schumann resonance being messed with, which is the earth frequency. I think it's 7.83 hertz. And if you look at the A tone, they have rounded it off to 440 cycles per second when it should be 432 cycles per second. So they actually, in the name of our music that we're listening to, are giving us a discordant version of what we think is a complementary version. And it's messing up our DNA. We're made of water. Sound influences water. Sound is actually, you know, 1120 feet per second, and the sound is actually vibration. I think light is actually sped up sound instead of sound being slowed down light. You know, I think all of it is sound frequency, it's radiation. And sometimes our sound can get tampered with. We have to be really visually protective of our word sound. Like your frequency is important. What are you giving off? What's your pitch? You know, if you start to see that you're attracting certain things in your circumference, it's probably because your word sound, your sound is off. I remember C Knowledge from Howard, he and the Benedict Planets one time told me I was operating in the positive cipher. And you know, and I started thinking about the fact that we even came together like that. Like I was a nation, he was in the 5%ers, and usually those guys seemed like they had kind of beef because it was like Clarence 13X and all that ridiculous stuff that kept us apart. But we were building, and our sound brought us together. I'm saying the Howard University situation, because we came through that womb together and it got born together like that, the reason why our bond is so strong is because our sound has constructive interference. We spoon each other. So no matter how much distance and time is in between us, the oneness of that constructive interference always keeps us in the now, in the epicenter, on the axis. And so if we understood that, if we understand that, we can always make that be the case by checking our sound, checking our word sound, understanding what we're giving off, because that makes the critical difference. If you look at cymatics, sound comes before structure. If you're looking at logic and people talking about logic, how come they always use a sonic reference? When you have a real dope logic, somebody said that's a sound logic. If you have a real dope architecture, somebody said that's a sound structure. You don't trip on the word that they're using. The sound The sonic reference is major because sound comes before. It's like a relative superposition. Sound comes before matter. All matter is coagulated sound. So you have a ability to manipulate sound, manipulate matter because it is sound. It's just sound that congealed together that forms based on the emotional desire to be. And we have that within us. That's what manifestation is coagulated sound, tell you the truth. The ability to distill your thoughts from formation or polarity to ideation to a formation. Your ideas, your very ideas are magnetic enough to attract the matter to them that will allow them to form and be in the best possible place for the maximum success of that phenomenon. You can actually tune into that. What brought us here is that. What brought me and Earl and Alan to Paris is that. A collective vision that had enough magnetic appeal to bring all of us together for a common purpose. And they congealed in the form of manifesting, placing us in a place where we can do the most work for this type of thought wave that we're on to resurrect or liberate, because we're all coming from that and in the timing of it. So deal with your sound, deal with your word sound. Listen to yourself. Have a conversation with yourself. Your higher self is always talking to you. You try to diss it sometimes, but that's your sound monitor. That's your frequency template. And so check that out, man, because don't ignore that, because your pitch is everything. When Suge Knight walked into a room, what happened? Everybody be, oh, you could feel him. You could feel his word sound before he even speak. So start really tuning into that. Stop being so linear and start really embracing your subjectivity and your radical imagination, because sound is what's going to allow you to out-imagine this crazy thing that we're stuck inside of. It's the ability to out-imagine it. Eddie Fontenot does art. You know, like he creates a version of what you call reality that came from his mind that is now instantiated in material form in real life. The vibration from that and his desire and his emotional will is actually hitting you and making you want to join that. And whatever is in you that's constructive interference for that is going to allow you to grip to that. And then not only going to feel Eddie, but you're going to feel the thing that it represents in terms of what his soul quality is speaking to. And if you're made out of the same stuff, if it's in there, it's going to come to the fore. So we need to be really vigilant about that so we can bring everybody's vibe to the top. The vibe part that came from Howard, that was part of that liberative thing that we all felt when we were coming through that womb, we need to resurrect that again. So whatever your mundane place in life is that you're doing for your 9 to 5, right now it's time to go back inside and get out the linear pattern and start embracing your subjective, emotional desire pattern. Because desire feeds the will to do something. And so we need to get back to that right now and get away from just the safe, stair-step, linear progression that you are comfortable with. We need to get outside the comfort zone, trust your instinct, trust your intuition now, and it's time to go to an intuitive space. Use your emotions to fuel movement. Emotions aren't bad. Emotions aren't something that's like just feminine or something like that. Emotions are the power that creates the glue to coagulate sound, to manifest a material, a piece. And that's what we're doing. You can't do none of this without no emotional frequency. You know, but make sure that nobody can come in during that emotional state, because you're vulnerable, to take it and use that energy to bring it to another tangent. And that's all advertisements are. Persuasive advertisements are appealing to your emotion, your ethos. And they want you to consume based on emotion. They understand emotion has a frequency. All of them do. And so they understand how to manipulate that. Best believe they have actual signatures, hertz per second. They have emotion, jealousy, love, all those are measured increments of sound they can actually do. So you own that. You know what I mean? And when you look at somebody and deal with somebody, think about how you are complementary to them as opposed to how you're different from them. That'll bring you a constructive interference mode that you're in, and then y'all can work and produce. And so let's get that going. And if y'all need any more, you know, check out Cymatics, CYMATICS. That's how sound influences matter. And if you really look at that, you'll be able to build. Let's build. Let's get it.